Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. So I'm here with journal number 2 of my little fawn herd that I have made. I've made 3 different fawn related journals. And so this one I am calling Flora Fawn. It is a tall and skinnier type journal. It's 11.5 by 5.5 inches. So the fabric that makes up the cover is so soft. You just want to pet it like a baby fawn. So I did learn that the way that the spots on fawns' bodies work is they go in these little straight lines like this on either side of the spine, and then the rest is kind of random different size patches on their bodies. So that's how I hand painted these onto this, and I did it all the way around, so it's on both sides. On the spine, I whittled down, I cut in half a large stick and I whittled the back to make it nice and flat. And I added 2 holes that I drilled here and put brads through them to attach it on the inside to this spine. You'll see a couple little knots here. It's a really beautiful stick that I've had for years. So I often collect all sorts of wood from outside and then I dry it for years, and we make furniture and all sorts of things with it. But I keep these little bits for art projects. So that's what this came from. And then also tied up at the top here, I have 2 authentic antler buttons. And so these were harvested from my friend's apple orchard, where the deer love to come to eat the fallen apples in the fall, and deer will drop their antlers seasonally, and then you can just pick them up. So no deer were harmed in the harvesting of these. We just pick up the antlers, and then you take them and give them a slice, and you can make buttons out of them. Same way you would make wooden buttons. You just cut them on like a bandsaw. So I have tied this closed with some hand-dyed seam binding. It's really nice and soft and silky, and has this nice spattering on it. So then we open up this big book, and this is a 5 signature journal. And it starts out with this kind of clustery looking pocket here with an authentic picture of this cute little fawn. And inside we have a vintage postcard, and this is on the Devon near Huntley, not exactly sure, somewhere I'm assuming in England. And then this is just kind of a foresty girl kind of journal, silhouette journal tag from my Journal Together kit. So this particular book, each of these have a bit of a different theme, and this one is medieval botanical. I've used Medieval Mirage's medieval botanical kit, the tall, the long and skinny one in this journal. So that's kind of the underlying theme. Also, you will see Amity Bloom's Deer Fawn collection in here. That's what this wallpaper is. And then this is the Medieval Mirage. So just so you get a bit of a feel for the type of imagery you'll see. This is another authentic vintage photo. These are from 1960, and it's this lady here and a little fawn with a bell on in this little bush here. So this tips out. We have some nice green floral paper and journaling space. This beautiful page, and then you flip it over, and on the back we have these lovely soft wallpapers. Just a very subtle scrapbook paper. It's got like a almost canvasy type feel to it. And on this side we have this large and quite plain belly band for writing space with these beautiful leaves and a label down here. And then a large 1950s Bambi children's book page. I just had to include it because it's such an old book. And then another of those very sort of large pages for writing. It came out of a large nature book that just had like little subtle plant watercolors on it by Glenn Lotes. This is some logbook paper that I dyed. This is a book page with these crows flying over like forests and woods, or sorry, farms and forests. A belly band on this side from Amity Bloom of a little girl feeding a deer. And inside is this journal card of this large, it's actually an elk, and has some vintage yellow tape stitched on the bottom, just as kind of a decoration, and also a little grabbing point to get it out of the belly band so that you see that it's there. I always kind of like to include something to grab a hold of things. And then this is Sorry, I had to change my battery. As I was saying, these are watery oak leaf printed rust papers that I made. This is a flat lay laminated collage that is a tuck spot on this kind of fun garden themed paper. And then this is a lovely tall envelope. I'm trying to remember whose digital this is. I can't remember. Chapter 1 papers. Yes, I don't remember what collection though. And then this is a beautiful deer illustration on brown paper, and that is a journal card inside of here that just tucks on in there. Then on this side we have this little postcard tuck spot, and in it we have an Amity Bloom tag with some rusty lace up here, rust-dyed lace. And I love this paper so much, this kind of gardeny paper, like you just imagine a deer could wander into that space. Then we have this little kind of flowery fairy here, and some green hand-dyed lace paper, another botanical medieval image with that gorgeous like backing. I've left some pages just white and plain because I think it's good to do that. This is from a calendar with this beautiful deer, and so it's kind of this really nice feeling plasticized and woven paper, like it's got a fun covering to it. More of that medieval mirage paper and my hand-dyed lace green paper. And then we have this beautiful deer who's growing into a tree here with some birds overhead. This little tuck spot here is a baby fawn in the grass from Amity Bloom's collection. And this is sort of a trapped shaker card with little gold sequins, real red leaves, and a little dove in there. And then another laminated, trapped, beautiful things tuck spot that has stamps, mushrooms, flowers, really old German paper, and gold embossing, and a real leaf from eucalyptus. And then inside we have a piece of stationery with beautiful deer on it that are illustrated by Glenn Lotes. And on the back, this lovely chipmunk with a decent amount of writing space. So I just left this page as it was, tore the corners and inked it, and felt like it was a nice add-in. This is another of the rusty oak leaf pages. This is a beautiful dove up in her nest in these oak leaves, and a deer looking at these roots and dandelions. Some of my hand-dyed log paper, another of those fun leafy pages. Just some nice white space for you to put your imagination on. Another medieval mirage botanical. This is an old invoice from my Journal Together kit from my collection of authentic old invoices. And then this is from Amity Bloom with this baby deer and a little tag from Chapter 1 papers. Medieval Mirage, this beautiful paper. Also from Amity Bloom, the pocket. And look at this paper, it's so cute with this like gardeny theme. And then this is a tag from book page and other things collaged with book spine, old tape, and authentic, beautiful old photo of this family just patting this deer. So cute. And that just tucks in here. And then a little kind of scene of 4 deers here. That's from Amity Bloom. It's on this beautiful paper. Mushrooms and robins. And then this is a medieval botanical panel that came from an art book. So it's like a large piece of writing stationery in here. More of my hand-dyed log paper. And sorry if I'm squirming all around here. This is a big book and trying to show you everything. More medieval botanicals. This beautiful gold handmade paper. A lovely birch forest. I love how it gets dark in behind those birch trees. And then this lovely fawn with her little beard here, and this cobweb that's been caught in the sunlight and the thistles is so beautiful. And this is a poem by E.F. Howard called Back to Nature, and I found it in an Ideals magazine. I love to dwell in forest wild where giant pine trees pierce the sky, a beauty spot where nature smiled I need to start that again as I had a little visitor. My apologies. I love to dwell in forest wild where giant pine trees pierce the sky, a beauty spot where nature smiled, a fitting place to live and die. Where lake waves kiss the sandy beach, the native haunt of timid deer, a sermon only God can preach, but every human soul may hear. The book of nature opened wide, each page seemed some wondrous joy unfolds. To him whose conscience is his guide, he learns the secrets nature holds. I've played my part in life's affairs, I'm weary of the noise and strife, so let me put aside my cares and live the quiet, simple life. And it has this little deer here, more of that beautiful gold paper, medieval mirage, more of my hand-dyed log paper, and another flat lay lamination with stamps and eucalyptus and all sorts of fun things. And then this is, again, that same little deer, and it's shiny because it came from the cover of the book. And it's just a little writing space in this tuck spot. And then over here, this image is from my Journal Together kit. It's an overlay I created of a silhouette of a girl and then added some forest behind her in watercolors. And then this is some more of that super cute gardening paper. And this is from a 1950s Bambi book. I just had to include some of these because they're so cute. And it was such an old book that I thought like it was nice to have some Bambi in here. More neutrals and medieval mirage botanicals. This is like a little bit of writing space. It's on the other side of that old invoice with another laminated flat lay with some real plants in there. And then this was from the Natural History Notebook, from the Museum of Natural Sciences in Ottawa. So I have a whole booklet of these lovely little illustrations of different animals. And this is an elk, which is very closely related to deer. And it's just a little piece of stationery from a nice vintage book. More medieval mirage with the pigeons. I was so happy to see doves in this digital because they somehow ran along in a lot of the books that I used on pulling images for the deer. So it was nice to have that kind of theme follow through. This is some fun scrapbook paper with a light gold gridding on it. Some construction paper and more medieval mirage. More of my rusty oak leaf. You see those watery oak leaves. This is also a digital kit in my Etsy if you're looking for this kind of paper. This is another flat lay here with eucalyptus, and I've stapled on this beautiful deer head, and it's on some really beautiful garden paper. And then this is a large journal card that I made with this black and white image of a white-tailed doe on like a old, Renaissance painting. This is all Amity Bloom, the pocket and these bits inside. So this cabinet card style deer, and this little tag that says, "To my dearest Fawn, you will always have a safe place in my heart. You make the wildflowers sing melodies of peace." So those bits go in here. More dyed log paper and another little Amity Bloom collection here of this journal card, and then this little girl with this fawn on the medieval mirage botanical paper. Some hand-dyed yellow computer paper with my fractals in it. This is like a moth study from a beautiful nature notebook, and then some mushrooms and a little bug there. Just nice little nature sketchbook, and more of the oak leaf paper. Some more Bambi, so cute, with vintage, like authentic old tape mark up the side. This is some washi tape from Amity Bloom's collection, I think. More watery oak, and then this was cut from an old book. It's a black work, like monochromatic, 2 deer and a squirrel, and it's a little tuck spot for this little tag that just goes in here. And then this is a beautiful, the other side of that amazing book page with the illustrations on it. And it has this big dandelion here. Just gotta pull that little tape bit off there. And so it's a really big dandelion that shows you the whole round of it. And on this side, it's just some, there's a water snail and then some underwater plants. And more of that dot matrix dyed paper. Medieval botanicals, a little tuck spot here from Amity Bloom, and this I cut from a beautiful book, and it's just like a Dutch painting of like medieval lady with her little flower there. More hand-dyed log paper, another Bambi, and yes, another dove with pine cones on this amazing garden paper. So giant journal tag and tuck spot with raspberries and this deer. And then this is a little collaged journal card that I made. I used this little window die cut and then one of Amity Bloom's deer park pieces behind it. So through the window you can see the deer. And the rest is collage board with a really old book label there. More watercolor oak paper, or sorry, rusty watery oak. And then this is more medieval botanicals and some brown construction paper. More of the botanicals. This is a seed packet that I made recently in a video. And then we have this beautiful journal card here with more botanicals, and that tucks behind it. And inside is just one of my little watercolor leaves, just a little add-in. You could paste it somewhere in the journal, and that's what tucks inside the seed packet. So they're both in there. Some fun paper washi tape. This is an old invoice from my collection, and I just added this deer to it on this beautiful leafy paper with a big journal tag of this deer in the snow. More of the medieval botanical paper, a little label from Chapter 1 Papers on my watery oak. This is some really nice paper with gold stitching. Amity Bloom collection, that little tuck spot, and there's lovely watercolor ducks back here, and this is from an old book as well. It's like what are those old wall mosaics made from? I'm forgetting the name. Like egg tempera kind of painted. Lots of it done in like very old and Renaissance times. I'm forgetting the name of the technique, but it's that. You probably are screaming at the TV or whatever you're watching me on. This is a Glenn Loates beautiful painting of a fawn lying in these lovely plants. This is a castor bean plant, some wild violets. And then this is one of my eco-printed pages and some more medieval botanical. This is just a really cool, so it's little details of Glenn Loates illustrating for his moose illustration. So like lots of writing space here. You could cover this, but I also just really like it. It's like an artist process. And so then this is his actual spread of some deer that he painted. And then this folds over for more white space and a little Chapter 1 label here at the bottom, Chapter 1 Papers. And then more of the medieval botanicals and my eco-printed paper. A tuck spot up here I think is from Amity Bloom on this beautiful illustration of a deer. And some little flowers there on journal card. Then over here we have a couple things going on. So the upper tuck spots from Amity Bloom. I made this collaged botanical journal card to go inside. And then this fun green paper down here kind of folds out for some writing space on both sides of that little fold out. And then that just kind of goes up there so you could hide something in there if you wanted. More of the stitched paper, watery oaks, medieval mirage paper. This side we have a little blank purple sort of stack of papers. I think this is from 49 Market or Minte, I can't remember. And then this journal card. Just some fun scrapbook paper, and we end with the last page from Medieval Mirage and this little envelope, and inside is this little just this little verse. Now when the earth its clear divisions marked, as with a comb shining from squalor free, shall claim her seeds, 'tis time to paint the earth with varied flowers like stars brought down from heaven, white snowdrops and the yellow shining eyes of marigolds and fair narcissus blooms, with fierce lions gaping mouths and the white cups of blooming lilies and the corn flag bloom, snow white or blue, then let the violet be planted, which lies pale upon the ground, or blooms with gold and purple blossoms crowned, likewise the rose too, full of maiden blush. And then at the end here, we end with my little seal and a little ghost leaf and my signature and the date. So thank you for joining me for book 2 of my little deer herd. This is Flora Fawn. And if you are seeing this video, that means that this journal has been added to my Etsy shop. Thank you so much. You can find my links down below in the description box to my shop, my Patreon, and other things that I do. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy seeing different kinds of journals and videos. I would love to have you here. So thanks again and have a great day. Bye for now.